Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Victor's deadly game of revenge. Who will pay the price? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates suggest that Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, might seek deadly revenge, ensuring that a culpable character faces the ultimate consequence. Want more of The Young and the Restless? Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Victor, furious at the prospect of one of his grandchildren having been targeted, could strike back fiercely against a fresh adversary, aiming for nothing less than an early demise. Victor doesn't fool around when it comes to his family. He's a real grandpapa bear. When it comes to family, there's one undeniable truth that fans have come to recognize about Victor: he is fiercely protective and does not take any threats lightly. Victor's devotion to his children, and particularly his grandchildren, is unwavering. Anyone who dares to inflict harm on a member of the Newman clan is likely to find themselves facing dire consequences. With his immense power and a vast network of connections, Victor has the means to ensure that justice is served. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Victor's deadly. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Game of revenge, who will pay the price? Genoa City has always been a battleground of loyalty, betrayal, and power, but the storm brewing around Victor Newman is darker and deadlier than ever before. The mustache has been known for decades as the puppet master who plays everyone around him like a game of chess, but this time, it seems Victor's rage has evolved into something far more dangerous. After years of manipulation, heartbreak, and betrayal within his own family, Victor's patience has finally snapped. The great Newman patriarch is out for blood, and this time, his revenge could destroy more than just reputations, it could cost lives. As tension rises across Newman Enterprises and chaos begins to spill into every corner of Genoa City, one chilling question lingers: who will pay the ultimate price for Victor's wrath? Victor Newman has always been a man who believes in control. Control over his business, his empire, and most importantly, his family. But recent events have shaken even him to his core. Between Adam's constant rebellions, Nick's wavering loyalty, and Victoria's growing independence, Victor feels the walls closing in on his once unshakable dynasty. He built his legacy from the ground up, brick by brick, deal by deal, and manipulation by manipulation, but what happens when those closest to him begin to turn away? That loss of control may be the spark that lights the fuse of Victor's most dangerous plan yet. The first signs of Victor's deadly game of revenge began quietly. Insiders at Newman Enterprises noticed subtle changes in Victor's behavior: late-night phone calls, secret meetings, and a chilling sense of focus that hadn't been seen in years. It wasn't business as usual, it was personal. The whispers in the corporate halls suggest that Victor has compiled a list of those who have betrayed him, directly or indirectly. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. And those he believes must be punished to restore balance to the Newman name. And if the rumors are true, that list may even include some of his own children. At the top of that list could be Adam Newman. Victor has tried, time and again, to give his youngest son opportunities for redemption, only to be repaid with defiance and deceit. Adam's latest schemes, whatever they might be, seem to have pushed Victor past his breaking point. But if Victor decides to strike back, how far will he go? The father-son war that has spanned decades may soon reach its deadliest chapter, and Adam could find himself facing the full wrath of the man who created him, and might just destroy him. But Adam isn't Victor's only problem. Victoria Newman, the daughter who has been both his pride and his greatest frustration, has started making moves that threaten to destabilize everything he's built. Her partnership with Nate, her growing independence from the Newman family business, and her willingness to challenge her father's authority could place her squarely in his crosshairs. Victor may love Victoria more than life itself, but his obsession with dominance doesn't allow for rebellion. If Victoria steps too far out of line, Victor might take drastic action to remind her who's truly in charge. Meanwhile, Nick finds himself caught in the middle once again, trying to keep peace within a family that thrives on chaos. But Victor's manipulations could soon force Nick into a dangerous corner. Will Nick side with his father and become complicit in his schemes, or will he stand up to Victor and risk losing everything, including his family and his freedom? Victor's game is one of control, and for every move his children make, he has already planned 5 moves ahead. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. But revenge in Genoa City rarely comes without collateral damage. As Victor sets his plans in motion, others will inevitably get caught in the crossfire. Nikki, his ever-loyal wife, has seen her husband through countless wars, but this one might finally break her spirit. She has watched Victor spiral before, but this time, there's something different, something colder, darker, almost sinister. The man she once believed could conquer anything is now consumed by vengeance, and Nikki's pleas for reason may fall on deaf ears. Then there's Audra Charles, who has recently been weaving her own web within Newman Media. Audra's ambition knows no limits, but aligning herself with the wrong Newman could prove to be her downfall. If she plays both sides, flirting with Adam's ambitions while currying favor with Victor, she could become a pawn in Victor's deadly chess game. And in Victor's world, pawns are disposable. Victor's reach of influence stretches far beyond the boardroom, though. Behind closed doors, he's pulling strings that could topple rivals and rewrite alliances. There's talk of secret deals, blackmail files, and a mysterious Plan V, a codename whispered among those closest to him. Whatever Plan V is, it's rumored to be Victor's ultimate trump card, designed to crush his enemies and restore Newman dominance once and for all. But Genoa City's greatest puppet master may be underestimating one key factor: his enemies are evolving. Adam, Victoria, and even Nick have all learned from the best. They know Victor's tactics, his patience, his traps, his psychological warfare. And while Victor believes he's controlling every outcome, the younger Newmans are no longer children, they're battle-hardened, cunning, and, in some ways, just as ruthless as their father. Could this be the moment the Newman children unite, not against outsiders, but against Victor himself? If that happens, the fallout could be catastrophic. Imagine the Newman Empire split down the middle, Victoria leading one faction, Adam manipulating the shadows, Nick trying to keep his moral compass intact, and Victor standing alone, defending what's left of his legacy. The company, the family, and even the Newman name could all crumble under the weight of their own ambition. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. And while all eyes are on the Newman family, there are others in Genoa City watching closely. Jack Abbott, for one, has learned never to underestimate his rival. If Victor's revenge spirals out of control, Jabot could find itself caught in the chaos, or benefit from it. Jack knows that when Victor's personal vendettas take over, it's only a matter of time before the business world feels the shockwaves. Could Jack use Victor's unraveling to his advantage? Or will Victor's vengeance somehow turn on Jack, reigniting their legendary feud with deadly new consequences? There's also Sharon, who has always shared a complicated connection with the Newmans, especially Nick and Adam. As Victor's revenge plot deepens, Sharon could find herself once again pulled into the family's orbit. Her calm wisdom and emotional insight could be exactly what the Newmans need, or she could become yet another casualty of their internal war. And then there's Claire Grace Newman, Victor's newly discovered granddaughter. The young woman's fragile psyche and search for identity make her especially vulnerable to the Newman family's power struggles. If Victor decides to mold her in his image, she could become his next great project, or his next victim. But if Claire begins to see through her grandfather's manipulations, she might just expose his darkest secrets, unleashing a storm that even Victor can't control. The question now is not whether Victor Newman will strike, but how, and who will still be standing when the dust settles. Every move he makes seems to come with hidden motives. Every ally could be an enemy in disguise. Every kind gesture might be part of a much larger trap. Genoa City has seen plenty of power plays, but none as potentially destructive as this one. As Victor's game of revenge unfolds, one can't help but wonder if even he understands the cost. His obsession with winning, his refusal to let go of control, has destroyed. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Relationships, pushed away loved ones, and left scars on everyone around him. This time, though, his enemies are not faceless rivals, they are his own flesh and blood. The great irony is that Victor's deadliest weapon has always been love twisted into power. He claims to protect his family, but in the process, he often destroys them. His need to control, to teach lessons, to ensure loyalty, may finally be his undoing. Because revenge, no matter how carefully planned, always comes with consequences. In the coming weeks, fans can expect shocking revelations, emotional confrontations, and at least one life hanging in the balance. Someone close to Victor may pay the ultimate price for his obsession, either by betrayal, sacrifice, or tragic accident. Will it be Adam, whose rebellion could push Victor too far? Or Nikki, who might take desperate measures to stop her husband's rampage? Could Victoria finally challenge her father in a way that leaves one of them ruined forever? Or will Victor's own body, long burdened by stress and age, betray him before he finishes his deadly game? Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain: Victor Newman is a man who never loses without taking someone down with him. His revenge may restore his power, but at what cost? As the line between justice and vengeance blurs, the king of Genoa City may discover that even the greatest empire can fall from within. The Young and the Restless is setting the stage for one of its most explosive chapters yet, a psychological war within the Newman dynasty that could change everything we know about the characters we've loved and hated for decades. In Victor's world, loyalty is currency, betrayal is fatal, and power is worth any price. The question that remains is simple, and chilling. When the final move is made in Victor's deadly game of revenge, who will be left standing? And who will pay the price for crossing the mustache? Because in Genoa City, one truth has always remained unshakable: Victor Newman always wins, until the day his enemies learn how to beat him at his own game. And that day may be coming sooner than anyone expects. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Victor doesn't fool around when it comes to his family. He's a real grandpapa bear when it comes to power, wealth, and legacy. No one in Genoa City commands respect quite like Victor Newman. The legendary patriarch of the Newman clan has built an empire that has withstood every betrayal, every corporate takeover, and every heartbreak imaginable. But behind the stern voice, piercing eyes, and boardroom bravado lies something even more formidable: a fierce, protective love for his family. That burns as strong as ever. Victor Newman might be a titan of industry, a master manipulator, and at times a ruthless adversary, but when it comes to his children and grandchildren, he's nothing short of a lion in human form. To those closest to him, he's a grandpapa bear, and anyone who dares threaten his family soon learns just how sharp his claws can be. Victor's relationship with his family has always been complicated, to say the least. From his turbulent marriage with Nikki to the endless feuds between his children, his family is both his greatest pride and his deepest wound. Yet through every argument, betrayal, and heartache, Victor's love for his family remains unshakable. He's made mistakes, plenty of them, but one thing has always been clear: he will do whatever it takes to protect the Newman legacy. And that means protecting every single person who carries the Newman name, no matter what it costs him. Over the years, fans have watched Victor stand tall as the ultimate patriarch, navigating battles between his children, cleaning up their messes, and sometimes even creating new ones. He has clashed with Adam, fought with Victoria, and tried to keep Nick from losing himself to guilt and pride. He's been the cause of heartbreak and the savior of souls. But now, in his later years, Victor's attention seems to have shifted in a more emotional direction, toward his grandchildren. In them, he sees the future of everything he's built. And he's determined to make sure they inherit not just his empire, but his strength, resilience, and unbreakable will. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Victor's role as Grandpapa Bear is one that has softened him, just slightly. Beneath the steely businessman exterior, there's a man who melts when one of his grandchildren runs into his arms. Whether it's Connor, Johnny, Katie, Christian, or even Claire Grace Newman, Victor's instinct is to protect. The sight of those little ones reminds him why he fought so hard for decades, to ensure that the Newman name would stand the test of time, that his legacy would live on through the generations. But anyone who thinks this new version of Victor means he's gone soft doesn't know him at all. When danger or deceit circles his family, that gentle grandpapa disappears, and the unstoppable force of the mustache returns with vengeance. Recently, Victor's relationship with his newly discovered granddaughter, Claire Grace Newman, has brought out his most protective instincts. Claire, the daughter of his estranged granddaughter Eve, came into the Newman family under tragic and chaotic circumstances. She had been manipulated, broken, and used by evil forces who turned her against the family she never knew. When the truth came out, and Victor realized the pain Claire had suffered, something inside him changed. He saw not just a lost girl, but a second chance, a chance to rewrite the mistakes of the past, to be the kind of grandfather he wished he could have been sooner. For Victor, Claire represents redemption. And anyone who threatens to harm her, or drag her back into darkness, will face the full wrath of a man who's spent his life protecting what's his. Nikki, ever the heart of the Newman family, has noticed this shift in her husband. She's seen the way Victor watches Claire with quiet pride, the way he softens when she calls him grandfather, and the way he goes out of his way to make her feel safe. It's something rare and beautiful, a reminder that underneath Victor's power-hungry exterior lies a heart that truly beats for family. Still, Nikki can't help but worry that Victor's protectiveness might one day cross the line into obsession. After all, when Victor feels his family is threatened, he doesn't just fight back, he annihilates. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Victor's protective streak doesn't stop with Claire. He's equally fierce when it comes to his other grandchildren. His bond with Connor, Adam's son, has been a particularly emotional one. Connor's struggles have weighed heavily on both Adam and Victor, but while Adam often reacts with guilt and self-doubt, Victor sees his grandson's pain as a call to arms. He wants to ensure that Connor grows up strong, proud, and shielded from the Newman curse of self-destruction. Victor knows all too well how easily his children have been consumed by their own ambition, so when it comes to the younger generation, he's determined to guide them, sometimes with love, and sometimes with tough lessons. The same goes for Christian, Nick's son, whom Victor sees as another link in the Newman legacy. While Nick has tried to give Christian a normal life away from the chaos of the family business, Victor has other ideas. In his eyes, Christian is a Newman through and through, destined to carry on the family name. It's only a matter of time before Victor starts planting seeds about responsibility, power, and family pride. He's a man who believes in grooming his successors, and that starts from the cradle. Johnny and Katie, Victoria's children, also hold a special place in Victor's heart. He sees Victoria's strength in Johnny and Nikki's grace in Katie. For them, Victor's dreams are simple. He wants them to grow up confident, fearless, and aware of the Newman legacy. But that dream may come at a cost. Victor's intense need to control and shape the next generation often puts him at odds with their parents, particularly Victoria, who's fiercely independent and determined to raise her children on her own terms. Yet, as much as she may resist, Victoria knows her father's influence is impossible to erase. And that's the paradox of Victor Newman. He's both the foundation and the storm. His love is fierce, but it can suffocate. His protection is powerful, but it often comes wrapped in manipulation. He gives with one hand and takes with the other. Yet no one can deny that when push comes to shove, Victor would sacrifice everything to keep his. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Family safe. That's what makes him such a complex and compelling figure, a man who will destroy worlds for the ones he loves, even if it means losing them in the process. The Newman grandchildren, whether they realize it or not, are growing up under the watchful eye of a man who has conquered every enemy he's ever faced. Victor knows what the world can do to people like them, the jealousy, the betrayal, the deceit, and he intends to prepare them for it. He's teaching them to be strong, to be vigilant, to never let their guard down. And though his methods might be old-fashioned, or even ruthless, his intentions are rooted in love. For Victor, being a grandpapa bear means ensuring that no one ever dares to harm his family again. But this protective instinct could soon lead to new drama in Genoa City. Rumors are swirling that someone close to the Newman family is plotting something dangerous, something that could put one of the grandchildren in harm's way. When that happens, fans can expect Victor to transform from doting grandfather to relentless avenger overnight. His enemies have seen what he can do in the boardroom, but when it comes to family, his vengeance takes on an entirely new meaning. There's no business negotiation, no compromise, and no mercy. Even Nikki might not be able to rein him in this time. She's watched her husband walk this path before, one where his love becomes indistinguishable from obsession. The last thing she wants is to see Victor's fierce protection turn into self-destruction. But Victor doesn't see it that way. In his mind, protecting his family, especially the next generation, is his duty, his purpose, and his legacy. And if he has to cross a few moral lines along the way, so be it. The rest of Genoa City should tread carefully, because when Victor Newman is in Grandpapa Bear mode, there's nowhere to hide. Whether it's rivals like Jack Abbott, schemers like Audra Charles, or anyone else who thinks they can exploit a Newman, they'll soon realize that crossing Victor's family means war. He may be aging, but he's not slowing down. If anything, time has only made him more dangerous, more cunning, and more determined to secure his family's future. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. In the coming weeks, viewers can expect to see Victor navigating this delicate balance between love and power. His interactions with his grandchildren will continue to reveal his softer side, while his actions in the shadows will remind everyone that he's still the master strategist who built an empire from nothing. There will be tender moments, smiles, hugs, maybe even a few tears, but there will also be fiery confrontations, shocking moves, and the unmistakable sense that Victor Newman is far from done shaping his legacy. Because at the end of the day, Victor Newman doesn't fool around when it comes to his family. He's a real grandpapa bear, loving, fierce, and utterly unstoppable. His growl may echo through boardrooms and living rooms alike, but it's his heart, his loyalty, and his unwavering sense of family that truly define him. He's not just protecting a name, he's guarding generations of love, pride, and strength. And as long as Victor Newman is alive, one thing will always be true: no one messes with the Newman family and gets away with it. This is precisely why Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, felt compelled to caution Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, about the lurking dangers in the thrilling episode of Y&R that aired on October 23. What is this? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Eric Braeden's candid health update and what lies ahead for Victor Newman. Naturally, Braeden often fields inquiries regarding his retirement, and he's answered those questions for years, or at least the last 10 or 15. While no one is eager to see him step back, the 83-year-old actor has faced some health challenges in recent years, prompting fans to speculate about his future on the show. In a recent chat with TV Insider, Eric Braeden dispelled any rumors about retirement. Want more of The Young and the Restless? Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? It's evident that Braeden is feeling much healthier now, and he has no immediate plans to leave. I don't want to, Braeden expressed when asked about retiring. I feel very well. I really do. Y&R spoilers, Eric Braeden wants to keep going as long as possible. This is fantastic news for fans eager to see Victor remain in the spotlight for as long as possible. Braeden also provided some health updates, reinforcing his commitment to Y&R. The bladder cancer is under control, and I'll have another cystoscopy in about a month. If that comes back negative, I'll have some time off. It's never fully gone, so monitoring is essential, but the signs are very promising. What is this? Braeden shared, it sounds like it's under good control. He also mentioned that his new knee is fully healed, allowing him to do power squats and engage in various activities to maintain his fitness. The Young and the Restless preview week of August 26th, Lucy and Faith's crash, Victor's Claire order, Adam gaslights. View story. What is this? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Eric Braeden, won't leave the show. Eric Braeden's vibrant health and vitality make it clear why he's eager to continue portraying Victor, and he has no intention of leaving the show or retiring. If this trend continues, we can look forward to seeing Victor grace our screens for many more years. As long as the show will have Eric, Eric will be Victor. Victor is known for clever schemes, as shown by the surprise rebuilt Newman ranch house for Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, and the deal he's negotiating with Jill Abbott, Jess Walton. According to upcoming spoilers for the show, Victor is set to unleash even more surprises in the near future, so stay tuned for our insights on the daring developments to come. Viewers can always count on the mustache. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. Come back here often for the Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Eric Braeden's candid health update and what lies ahead for Victor Newman. In the world of daytime television, few names command as much respect and recognition as Eric Braeden. For over 4 decades, Braeden has embodied the iconic role of Victor Newman on The Young and the Restless, captivating generations of fans with his commanding presence, emotional depth, and fierce loyalty to the Newman legacy. Recently, the soap legend opened up with a candid health update that left fans both emotional and inspired. As he continues to face personal challenges with grace and strength, questions arise about what's next for both the man and the character he's made unforgettable. Could Victor's future in Genoa City be shifting in unexpected ways? Let's dive deep into Eric's heartfelt revelations and what may lie ahead for Victor Newman in The Young and the Restless. Eric Braeden, now in his early 80s, remains a force of nature, on screen and off. His portrayal of Victor Newman has been the cornerstone of The Young and the Restless for over 40 years, a testament to his dedication, charisma, and undeniable star power. But behind the scenes, Braeden has faced real-life battles that have tested his endurance. Not long ago, he revealed his journey through a cancer diagnosis, a revelation that stunned fans who have always seen him as larger than life. His honesty and openness about his treatment and recovery have shown fans that even the strongest among us face moments of vulnerability. In a recent interview, Braeden assured viewers that his health is improving and that he remains committed to his role on The Young and the Restless. His words carried the strength and humility of a man who has fought hard and continues to stand tall. "I feel good," he said. "I'm grateful to the fans, to the doctors, and to everyone who stood by me. Life is precious, and so is this character I've had the privilege to play." Braeden's message resonated deeply with longtime viewers. His determination mirrors that of Victor Newman, a man who has weathered betrayal, illness, heartbreak, and war, yet always emerges more powerful. Victor's resilience has long been symbolic of the man portraying him. As Eric Braeden recovers and looks forward, fans can expect his alter ego to reflect that same renewed strength and clarity. However, there are whispers within the soap world that Victor's storyline may take an introspective turn in the coming months. Could this be a moment where Victor begins to contemplate his legacy and what kind of empire he's leaving behind? After all, his family has been more fractured than ever, with divisions between Nick, Victoria, Adam, and now Claire. Even the great Victor Newman can't control every storm. The soap has long been masterful at blending reality with fiction. Victor's recent health scare storyline seemed to mirror Braeden's own health struggles, creating an emotional parallel that moved fans to tears. When Victor suffered memory lapses and health issues on screen, viewers couldn't help but wonder how much of that story reflected Braeden's personal truth. Yet, true to form, Braeden's performance never faltered. He delivered powerful scenes that reminded everyone why he remains the heart and soul of the show. Sources close to the production say that the actor's renewed energy has inspired the writing team to craft more profound, legacy-driven storylines for Victor in 2025, focusing not just on business rivalries but on family redemption and emotional closure. Fans may recall that Victor has been struggling to keep his family united. Victoria's impulsive decisions, Adam's endless quest for validation, and Nick's moral opposition to his father's tactics have all created fractures within the Newman clan. Even with Nicky by his side, Victor seems more isolated than ever. His attempt to control every aspect of the Newman empire has started to backfire, forcing him to confront an uncomfortable truth: he can't live forever, and his empire must one day be passed on. But to whom? That's the million-dollar question that may define Victor's next chapter. Eric Braeden's health update has reassured fans that he's not stepping away anytime soon, but insiders suggest that the writers are preparing long-term arcs that will explore Victor's mortality and legacy. Expect deeply emotional scenes as Victor grapples with his place in a changing world. The ruthless titan of industry may begin to look inward, questioning whether all his victories came at too high a cost. There are rumors that Victor may even face a major health relapse on screen, a storyline that could lead to reconciliation, heartbreak, or even a shocking power shift at Newman Enterprises. Could Victor finally hand over the reins to one of his children, or will his controlling nature prevent him from ever truly letting go? One thing's certain: Eric Braeden's personal courage will shape how Victor's story unfolds. The actor has always infused his real-life experiences into his performance, bringing authenticity that no script can replicate. His openness about aging, resilience, and gratitude has inspired not just his colleagues but also millions of fans who followed his journey for decades. In interviews, he's often spoken about how grateful he is to the fans who've supported him through thick and thin, calling them the most loyal audience anyone could ask for. That bond between actor and viewer remains unbreakable. For the fans of The Young and the Restless, Victor Newman isn't just a character, he's a symbol of strength and perseverance. From his humble beginnings to becoming the most powerful man in Genoa City, Victor's story mirrors the fight of a self-made man who never gave up. And now, as Eric Braeden continues his own real-life fight, the connection between art and reality feels stronger than ever. There's an emotional resonance that goes beyond the screen, reminding fans why this soap has endured for over 50 years. Behind the scenes, the Y&R cast has expressed immense admiration for Eric Braeden. Co-stars have often described him as a mentor, a father figure, and a consummate professional who commands respect with every scene he's in. Many have credited him for shaping their careers and for maintaining the high standards that have kept the show on top for decades. Melody Thomas Scott, who plays Nicky Newman, recently shared that Braeden's resilience has inspired everyone on set. "Eric is unstoppable," she said. "He brings his heart to everything he does." Victor's story isn't just about business or power, it's about love, legacy, and loyalty. As for what lies ahead in Genoa City, viewers can expect Victor to take center stage once again. Rumors hint that Victor may orchestrate one final grand scheme to secure his family's future. Whether it's exposing a traitor within Newman Enterprises or facing down an old enemy, the mustache will undoubtedly remind everyone that he remains the king of the chessboard. But there's also talk of a softer side emerging. Victor may be forced to reckon with old mistakes, especially those involving his children. Will he finally make peace with Adam? Will he trust Victoria again? And can he repair the emotional damage that has kept his family divided for years? These are questions that could define the next major arc of The Young and the Restless. Another fascinating twist could involve Claire Grace Newman, the latest addition to the family. Victor's growing bond with Claire may mark a new phase for the patriarch, one where he mentors the next generation and reflects on what truly matters. Viewers have noticed that scenes between Victor and Claire have been filled with subtle emotion, as though Victor sees in her the chance to set things right, to rebuild what was broken. Could Claire become the unexpected heir to Victor's empire? That storyline alone could reignite the show's emotional core. In real life, Eric Braeden has emphasized how grateful he is to still be doing what he loves. "Acting keeps me alive," he said recently. "Victor Newman challenges me, inspires me, and gives me purpose. I've been through tough times, but I'm still here, and I plan to keep going as long as I can." His passion for storytelling remains undiminished, and fans can take comfort in knowing that the legend himself isn't ready to slow down just yet. For decades, Eric Braeden has shown us what it means to embody strength, both on and off the screen. His journey, marked by triumphs, challenges, and grace, continues to inspire millions. As Victor Newman faces his next battles in Genoa City, fans will no doubt see shades of the man behind the legend, resilient, passionate, and profoundly human. Whether Victor emerges victorious or humbled, one thing remains true: the legacy of Eric Braeden and Victor Newman will forever be intertwined in the heart of the young and the restless. In the coming months, expect emotional storytelling, heartfelt performances, and the kind of dramatic intensity that only Eric Braeden can deliver. With his health improving and his spirit unshaken, the future of Victor Newman looks bright, unpredictable, and deeply compelling. The mustache isn't going anywhere, and neither is the legend who wears it. The young and the restless remain stronger than ever, thanks in no small part to the enduring power of Eric Braeden. His candid health update isn't just news, it's a testament to the power of perseverance and the unbreakable connection between a star and his audience. Whatever lies ahead, fans know one thing for sure: Victor Newman, and Eric Braeden, will continue to inspire, defy the odds, and remind us all that true legends never fade. Holden warned Sienna the Newmans aren't someone to mess with. Holden has made it abundantly clear that the Newmans are not to be trifled with, as their influence stretches far beyond the confines of Genoa City. Currently, Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, lies in a hospital bed, comatose, the result of a tragic incident where someone seemingly forced him off the road and into a deep ravine. Victor, ever the protective grandfather, is determined to ensure that the individual who caused this calamity faces the consequences for the harm done to his cherished grandson. Meanwhile, Sienna is harboring more information than she is willing to spill, yet she is not the one to blame in this situation. In fact, she was taken aback and deeply unsettled when she received updates regarding the shocking news of Noah's terrible misfortune. Sienna's husband could be the culprit. However, it's worth noting that Sienna's husband, Mitch Bacall, could very well be the one behind this sinister act. With Roger Howarth's first appearance just around the corner, it seems almost certain that he will take on the role of Mitch. When Howarth's casting was initially revealed, it was announced that he would be joining the show for a significant story arc. While there's a chance he could remain longer, it appears to be more of a temporary stint focused on the drama surrounding Noah. What is this? If Howarth is indeed playing Mitch and is linked to the near-tragic fate of Noah, then his storyline might conclude with Mitch's takedown by Victor. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. Come back here often for the young and the restless spoilers, news, and updates. Holden warned Sienna the Newmans aren't someone to mess with in Genoa City. Danger doesn't always come in the form of a weapon. It often wears designer suits, signs multi-million-dollar contracts, and holds decades of power within a family name that shakes the entire town. That's what Holden Novak tried to tell Sienna Bacall before she found herself walking straight into a storm she never could have predicted. The Newmans aren't just another family, they're a dynasty, one with a history of loyalty, betrayal, and vengeance so deep it runs in their blood. And if Sienna thought she could outmaneuver them, she's about to learn a brutal lesson about what happens when ambition collides with the wrong legacy. Holden's warning wasn't out of jealousy or fear, it was a desperate attempt to protect her. He'd seen firsthand what Victor Newman was capable of when someone crossed the family line. The quiet confidence in Victor's voice, the cold calculation behind every move, the way he could destroy careers with a single phone call, those were the things that made Holden uneasy. He knew that once Sienna's name entered the Newman orbit, it would never leave. Sienna, however, wasn't one to back down. She was smart, charming, and bold, perhaps too bold for her own good. She saw an opportunity to gain power and recognition in a town where influence meant survival. She wanted to rise quickly, and aligning herself with the Newmans felt like the perfect move. But Holden could sense the danger. They don't play fair, Sienna, he told her one night as they stood outside society. You can't win if you don't understand their rules, and they make the rules. Sienna brushed off his concern, laughing softly as if he were exaggerating. I can handle myself, Holden. I've dealt with people like Victor before. But Genoa City had never seen anyone quite like Victor Newman, and Holden knew that better than anyone. The Newmans had survived scandals, lawsuits, takeovers, betrayals, and countless attempts to dismantle their empire. They were more than just a family, they were an institution. And Victor, at the head of it all, was still as sharp and dangerous as ever. The moment Sienna began working with Newman Enterprises, subtle changes began to occur. She was drawn into confidential meetings, power plays, and negotiations that left her breathless. But what she didn't realize was that every move she made was being watched. Victoria Newman had her eyes on Sienna, suspicious of her sudden involvement. Nick Newman remained quiet but observant, waiting to see if this new player would cause ripples in the company. And Nikki, always protective of her family, wasn't convinced that Sienna's motives were pure. Holden, watching from the sidelines, grew more concerned with each passing day. He noticed Sienna's tone shift when she spoke of Victor, her fascination with his commanding presence, and her determination to prove herself to him. It wasn't admiration, it was an obsession born from ambition. But ambition around the Newmans is like gasoline around fire, it doesn't take much for everything to explode. Things began to spiral when Victor's interests in Sienna's ideas turned personal. He saw something in her, ruthlessness, maybe even potential, and he began testing her loyalty. Victor admired intelligence but despised arrogance, and Sienna's growing confidence began to border on defiance. Holden tried to intervene, reminding her that the Newmans weren't allies, they were a fortress. But Sienna couldn't see it. She thought she could be the exception, the one to outsmart them. That illusion shattered the night she attended a private Newman dinner at the ranch. Victor had invited her to discuss a new business proposal, but what unfolded was far from a friendly conversation. Victoria grilled her about her intentions. Nikki's questions cut like knives. And Victor, in his calm, unnerving tone, reminded Sienna that loyalty wasn't optional, it was expected. By the time she left that evening, her confidence had cracked. Holden was waiting for her outside the gate. One look at her pale face told him everything. "Now do you understand?" he asked softly. Sienna didn't answer right away. The weight of the Newman name pressed heavily on her chest, suffocating any arrogance she'd once felt. "They're not like anyone else," she finally whispered. "No," Holden replied, "they're not, and that's exactly why you need to walk away before it's too late." But walking away from the Newmans isn't easy. Once someone gets entangled in their web, escape comes with a price. Sienna soon discovered that her business contacts had mysteriously dried up. Deals that once looked promising suddenly fell apart. Rumors began spreading, whispers that Sienna couldn't be trusted, that she was unstable. She didn't need to ask who was behind it, she already knew. Victor didn't destroy people with violence, he destroyed their credibility. Holden, seeing Sienna's downfall unfold, felt both pity and frustration. He had warned her, pleaded with her, but she hadn't listened. Still, he couldn't just abandon her. When she showed up at his apartment late one night, trembling and desperate, he knew she had reached her breaking point. "They're ruining me, Holden," she said, tears streaming down her face. "Everything I built, they're tearing it apart." Holden wrapped his arms around her, but even he knew comfort wasn't enough. The Newmans had made their move, and Sienna was cornered. "You have to disappear for a while," he told her. "Leave town. Let this blow over. You can start fresh somewhere else." But Sienna's pride refused to let her walk away. "No," she said, her voice cracking but defiant. "I won't let them win. Victor thinks he can control everyone, but not me." Holden shook his head. "You're playing with fire. You can't beat him at his own game." "Then I'll change the game," she said, determination flashing in her eyes. What came next would shock Genoa City to its core. Sienna leaked confidential information about a pending Newman deal to the press, hoping to expose Victor's manipulative tactics. The fallout was immediate. The media swarmed Newman Enterprises, stock prices wavered, and Victor's wrath was unleashed like a storm. Holden knew this time there was no saving her. When Victor wants revenge, it's swift, quiet, and permanent. Within days, Sienna found herself blacklisted from every major corporation in town. Her reputation was shredded. Her financial accounts were frozen. It was as if she'd never existed in Genoa City at all. Holden tried to reach out, but Sienna had vanished. Some say she left the country. Others whispered that Victor paid her off to disappear permanently. Holden never got a clear answer, but he never forgot her last words, "Tell Victor I'm not afraid." The truth was, she should have been. Holden's warning wasn't about fear, it was about survival. The Newmans had built their empire by knowing how to protect their own, and anyone who threatened that empire learned the hard way that power, once provoked, doesn't forgive. As weeks passed, whispers about Sienna's disappearance grew louder. Some believed she'd return, ready to seek revenge of her own. Others said she'd finally realized that no one wins against the Newmans and had chosen exile over destruction. Holden couldn't shake the feeling that she was still out there, watching, waiting for the right moment to strike back. Genoa City had seen its fair share of battles, corporate wars, family feuds, romantic betrayals, but what was brewing beneath the surface now felt different. Sienna's ghost hung over the town like a warning. And Holden? He knew that if she ever returned, there would be blood to pay. Because the Newmans don't forget, and they don't forgive. Holden Novak may have tried to warn her out of compassion, but in Genoa City, compassion doesn't save anyone, it just delays the inevitable. The Newmans remain untouchable, their legacy unshaken. But somewhere, in the shadows, a storm is gathering again. And when Sienna Bacall resurfaces, as everyone knows she eventually will, she won't be looking for forgiveness. She'll be coming for power. The question is, will Holden stand by her again, or finally walk away from the woman who refused to listen until it was too late? Genoa City may soon find out that even the mighty Newmans have a weakness, and her name just might be Sienna Bacall. Sienna's husband could be the culprit. Genoa City has seen its fair share of betrayal, but this time, the shocking truth may come from a place no one expected, Sienna Bacall's own home. As whispers ripple through the city about Sienna's sudden disappearance and her dangerous feud with the Newman family, a new theory is beginning to take hold, one that could change everything. What if the real threat to Sienna wasn't Victor Newman's revenge or Holden Novak's warning, but her own husband? The possibility has left everyone stunned, and now, questions are swirling faster than ever. Who is Sienna's mysterious husband, and what secrets has he been hiding from the very start? For weeks, all eyes were on Victor Newman and his empire. Many believed that after Sienna dared to challenge him, she was simply another casualty in the long line of those who crossed the Newman dynasty. But recent events are painting a far darker, more personal picture, one that may not have anything to do with the Newmans at all. Holden Novak, who had once been close to Sienna, has reportedly begun digging deeper, unable to shake the feeling that something about her vanishing doesn't add up. He's convinced that someone else was pulling the strings behind the scenes. And his search for answers has led him down a trail that points directly at Sienna's husband, a man who has managed to keep himself carefully out of the spotlight until now. The man in question, Ethan Bacall, has always been something of a mystery in Genoa City. While Sienna's charm and ambition made her a social and corporate climber, Ethan preferred to stay in the shadows. The few who knew him described him as reserved, intelligent, and fiercely private. But those who've interacted with him more closely say there was something unsettling about him, a quiet intensity, a coldness that lingered long after he left the room. At first, Sienna spoke of her husband with pride, calling him her silent partner in both business and life. But in the months leading up to her feud with Victor Newman, that tune began to change. Close friends noticed tension between them. Sienna would show up at events alone, often brushing off questions about Ethan's absence. There were whispers of late-night arguments, unreturned calls, and even rumors that she was considering separation. Now, with Sienna missing and no trace of her left behind, those whispers have turned into accusations. Did Ethan Bacall have something to do with his wife's disappearance? The evidence, though circumstantial, is growing. According to insiders, Ethan had been monitoring Sienna's professional life closely, even after she joined forces with the Newmans. He claimed he was protecting their interests, but many now believe he was trying to control her every move. Holden has reportedly uncovered documents showing that Ethan secretly redirected funds from Sienna's business accounts just days before her public fallout with Victor. The money, nearly $2 million, was transferred offshore and remains unaccounted for. If that weren't enough, surveillance footage has surfaced showing Ethan at a private meeting with a Newman Enterprises competitor, just hours before Sienna leaked confidential information that nearly toppled the company's stock. Coincidence? Or was Ethan the mastermind behind the chaos, using Sienna as a pawn in a much larger game? The question that haunts everyone is simple: was Sienna set up by the man she trusted most? Holden, who once warned Sienna not to cross the Newmans, is now haunted by guilt. He believed he'd failed to protect her from Victor's wrath, but what if he was looking in the wrong direction all along? She thought Victor was the danger, he reportedly told a friend. But maybe the real danger was sleeping beside her. Investigators in Genoa City are now reopening the case surrounding Sienna's disappearance. While no body has been found, new digital evidence suggests someone may have tampered with her communications in the days leading up to her vanishing. Messages sent from Sienna's phone after her supposed disappearance have been confirmed to contain metadata inconsistent with her usual devices. Experts now believe those messages were fabricated to make it appear that Sienna had left town voluntarily. That kind of manipulation takes precision and technical expertise. Ethan Bacall, it turns out, holds a background in cybersecurity. His previous employers have described him as a genius in data encryption and digital surveillance. It would have been easy for him to create false trails, delete records, and erase traces of his involvement. The deeper Holden digs, the darker the truth seems to get. It's said that Ethan may have had a hidden motive, a secret affair that he was desperate to keep from Sienna, or worse, a financial scandal that she was about to expose. Some believe Sienna had discovered something damning about her husband's dealings with one of Newman Enterprises' rivals and threatened to go public. If true, Ethan's silence all this time could be part of a cover-up. But in Genoa City, no secret stays buried for long. Rumors are spreading that Victor Newman himself has caught wind of Ethan's possible involvement and is quietly launching his own investigation. Victor may be ruthless, but even he has a code, and if someone outside his circle manipulated his business or harmed an innocent woman to do it, he won't stand for it. Holden, on the other hand, has a personal stake in the matter. His concern for Sienna has turned into an obsession with finding the truth. He's been seen speaking with law enforcement, visiting old contacts, and even consulting with Chance Chancellor, who's taken an interest in the case. Together, they're piecing together a timeline that may finally expose what really happened to Sienna Bacall. The community remains divided. Some still insist that Sienna brought this upon herself by poking the bear that is Victor Newman. Others believe she was framed, set up by someone who wanted her out of the way for good. But the idea that her husband could be behind it all adds a chilling new layer to the story. After all, betrayal from a business rival is expected in Genoa City. Betrayal from a spouse, that's something far more dangerous. If Ethan truly orchestrated Sienna's downfall, his plan was nearly perfect. He had access to her files, her passwords, and her trust. By manipulating her into a feud with Victor, he could divert suspicion from himself. Once the chaos hit the headlines, all he had to do was step back and let the Newman machine do the dirty work. By the time anyone started questioning the narrative, it was too late. Sienna was gone, and Ethan was in the clear. Or so he thought. New reports indicate that Holden has come into possession of a hard drive that once belonged to Sienna. On it, there are fragments of encrypted files, potentially containing evidence of Ethan's backdoor dealings. If those files are decrypted, they could reveal everything: offshore accounts, secret communications, and perhaps even the last messages Sienna ever sent. As the tension mounts, Genoa City braces itself for yet another explosive revelation. If Ethan Bacall is exposed as the culprit, it won't just be another scandal, it will be a full-scale reckoning. The fallout could reach every corner of the city, from Newman Enterprises boardrooms to the police department's offices. But even as the investigation unfolds, one question continues to haunt Holden and everyone else who cared about Sienna: is she still alive? Some believe Ethan may have silenced her permanently, ensuring that she could never uncover his crimes. Others think she managed to escape, faking her disappearance to turn the tables on the man who betrayed her. If that's true, then Genoa City may not have seen the last of Sienna Bacall. And when she does return, she won't just be looking for justice, she'll be looking for revenge. For now, Holden can only wait and watch as the truth inches closer to the surface. The Newmans, for once, are not the predators but the witnesses to someone else's dangerous game. And the city is left to wonder, if Sienna's husband truly is the culprit, how far will he go to keep his secrets buried? In Genoa City, power can buy silence, but not forever. The storm surrounding Sienna's disappearance is far from over, and when it breaks, no one, not even Ethan Bacall, will be able to escape the consequences.